Hi chums, right, back on the spuds again as you were told a few minutes ago. This one is number 3 and number 3 is one large Cara split, okay, and it's my seed again, and it's got Livingston's compost, which is some I had left over from last year. It's a very good quality compost. So we'll try that and see how we get on. Right, so you saw my t-shirt, that was it. And then I got a couple of books and things which were nice, I like that. At the moment I'm spending a lot of time on the Belfast Telegraph giant crossword, which is a full page newspaper crossword with about, I don't know, 250 clues or something, 300 clues. And it's a really well written crossword. It's really good. So I'm enjoying that, you know, but I haven't done crosswords for a while, so my wife's way ahead of me. What is going on? Oh, that's just, yes, that's little stones. You see here all that light stuff. That's the white things you see in there are little stones that are in the Livingston's compost that make it drain better. Okay, so look, we're not adding in here. There's the empty pigging back again. So as I say, where was I? I forget where it was. So as I say, I got some books. The Christmas crosswords. So I'm about a third of the way through it at the moment, and I need a whole area opened up for me, and I can't get a single clue in it to get started on it. But we'll go back to it tonight again. It's lovely just sitting there doing a crossword in peace by yourself, and it's just a lovely sensation of just having a bit of time to yourself, you know. And it's not that I don't like my family and I don't enjoy their company, but it's just nice to be able to sit in the kitchen with people moving about and doing things and coming up and down who don't talk to you. They just go about what they're doing and give you a wee bit of space. And I think that's important in a house, that people respect each other's space and don't always be demanding their attention, you know. So if you see somebody doing something that they're enjoying, just leave them in peace to do it. They will appreciate it. They mightn't realise what you're doing, but they will later. Where was it then? So as I say, Christmas is dead on. I've been out doing a lot of wood turning in the last, on Christmas Eve, I was making some pen pots, right? And I've made a whole lot more since because I've got quite a few demands for them, but there was something very significant happened when I gave one to a friend, and he said to me, look, I'll tell you what, would you give me one of the smaller ones, okay? Because if I get a pen pot that's too big, that's like 3 inches in diameter, I fill it full of pens, and then I can't find the pen I'm looking for, or the pencils, when they get shorter, go down to the bottom and they're never seen again, and I can't find them. So I'd rather put a few pencils and pens into a small pot than all my pencils and pens into a big pot. So just by chance, I had done 5 or 6 smaller pots, so I gave him 2 of those, and he went, this is brilliant. He said, I can put one set of pens into one, and the others that I use into the other without mixing them up, and I can actually organise my desk much more efficiently. Now, I don't know if he has OCD or not, but I get the point he was making, that if you put a pen in a pot, it's supposed to be handy, but it's not handy if you end up like 2 or 3 minutes trying to find the pen you want. You should be able to just lift it out of the pot, and that's it done. You know, that's what the pen pot's for. It's supposed to make things easy for us. So this is very significant for me, for my videos, because I have said before that I'm going to try and do videos in such a manner that I can help Christopher Fisher do his. He's a completely blind wood turner, and that guy's comment about I prefer a smaller one, as in narrower, made it a lot easier to make them because I had no internal hollowing to do. So I'm going to put a video up in the next day or so of how to make a pencil pot without having to do any hollowing, except to do your drilling instead. But it makes it a very easy process, and it means that there's an awful lot less danger attached to it, because if you're hollowing down a narrow long cylinder, there's a chance. I broke 9 pots on Christmas Eve, okay, because I was greedy. I wanted to get the wood off fast, and I started putting a huge big scraper down, like a 2-inch wide scraper down a hole 2.5 inches wide. And that means that you have no room for manoeuvre at all, because If you touch the back of the wall, it's coming round, you just end up, everything's getting wound up together. And I broke 9 pots doing that. And you would have thought I would have learned after the first one, but each time it broke, I kept thinking to myself, well, that'll not happen again. I know what to do the next time. But my reactions, or anybody's reactions, are not fast enough to be lathed, okay? So that's why I decided, right, I'm going to go this different method and stop pushing tools that are far too big into vessels that are too small, you know? So I decided to try this other method, and it has worked out really well for someone like Chris, who can't see, basically. Who can't see, not basically, can't see at all. So I'm going to do a video in the next day or two of how I make these now, and make them really quickly and safely. That's the main thing, is to do this thing safely, because you have to remember that Christopher hasn't got the advantage of that we have, where we can see things going wrong. He's depending on hearing to hear things going wrong, and sometimes that happens very quickly. But and saying that, we should all be sighted, not we should all be listening to what's going on. Not this listening to the wood crap that I hear, but I listen to the wood and it wanted to be a dog bowl, or it wanted to be a vessel. It doesn't. Listening to the wood means listen to the tone of the wood, so that if you get too thin or you hear a different change in tone, something has happened in the wood. So you might stop your lathe and find there's a crack in it, and that could save you a huge accident, you know. So listen to the wood. But the wood does not talk to you. It can't talk. Wood is an inanimate object. It cannot talk. So, what do you call it? Just listen to it, okay? Now, there's things, people say the wood told me what to do. That's the crap as well. The wood doesn't tell you what to do. What happens is, when you're working with the wood, you suddenly notice that there's an inclusion somewhere, or you notice that there's a crack somewhere, and you decide, right, I'm going to cut this direction, or I'm going to take this off the lathe and bandsaw that off. The wood didn't tell you to do that. The wood, you were watching the wood and you noticed something coming up that could be a problem, and you changed your mind. The wood didn't tell you anything, okay? I'm probably going to get a whole lot of grief about this, but wood cannot talk, that's the bottom line. So you do listen to the wood, but you listen to the wood in the sense that things going wrong. You listen for changes in tone, the cutting tone. That'll tell you if something's happening, you know. But as I say, the wood doesn't know what it wants to be. Right. I'm just going to get this in the interest of fairness, right? There's the thing empty. Yes, and then there's the last huge haul, okay? So as I say, off my wood, talking to Hobby Horse, you know. So I've done a lot of turning in the last few days, and one of the things I'll say is, before you start, if people are worried about these videos are going to take an eternity, the first couple will to be very long, because I have to tell exactly what I'm doing so that Chris can understand what I'm at. But what I'll do is, as I do things, I won't tell Chris them 15 times, you know. I'll do them once or twice, and then he'll have that information, and the next time I say drill or sand, I can just cut that piece out of the video, because I've done that, okay? So they will get faster, but at the start, we're going to have to just go a bit easier so that he can get up to speed with us, okay? So that's that. The other thing is that, you see, when I'm watching videos and somebody says, I'm going to sand this now, I don't whiz forward. I would tend to watch them, because I might pick up something useful from what they're doing. And it wouldn't, if I watched a video today and I saw somebody doing something when they're sanding, it wouldn't be, and I learned something from it, it wouldn't be the first time, I can tell you that. You never stop learning, and you can learn things that make it a bit safer and a bit easier and a bit faster. One of the best tips I ever got on sanding was to turn the speed of my lathe down. I thought by sanding fast I'd get it done quickly. No, you don't. All that happens is the paper doesn't get a chance to bite into the wood. So by slowing the wood, by slowing the wood down, you speed the sanding up. Okay, here we go. There we are. Hello, and then we'll stick our spuds on. This feels a bit better. Probably 7 pounds, I think. No, about 5.5 pounds. Well, there we are. 5.4 pounds. Oh, no, it's not. It's not. Or is it? I think that's kilos. 5.4 pounds. That's not kilos. We'll just check the kilos and see what they are. Yeah, 2.47 kilos. So it's 2.5 kilos and £5.4. That's not too bad. It's not great, but it's better. It's better than the last one, you know. So where wasn't I? I was on my hobby horse about people saying the wood talk to them, you know. I heard a great comment one time on a video about a guy who was doing a wood turning. He was assessing work in a competition, and he said, you know, I hear people telling me that the wood talk to them. Well, he said, all I can assume is that either they weren't listening or the wood wanted to be a dog ball. So basically, okay, well, where we're going to go, a lot of people produce a lot of crap and say this is the wood wanted to be, you know, but that's, you don't just, the only thing you can justify is your own work, and if it's no good, it's no good. And I've thrown a lot of stuff into the fire recently. So that's it. But anyway, I'm off my hobby horse now. The next video will probably be a wood turning video, and I'm going to go out to set that up now. I've done a lot of work the last couple of days preparing for it, because I don't want to make a real mess of it the first time I do it, you know, live turning. I could stand here and talk all day about gardening and maths, but turning it live on camera is really scary for me, you know. So that's it. I'm going to go before my nose runs all over you, you know. A wee bit of a cold coming on. I don't feel sick, I just feel that sort of head coldy thing, you know. So that's it. So I might be back before the new year. If I don't be back before the new year, which is highly unlikely, I'll wish you all a happy new year now, and I hope that 2015 is, or 2015 is kind to you all. Okay? All the best now. Bye bye.